Wake Forest at Louisville, coming down the stretch with 26 seconds left on the clock. Louisville grabs an offensive rebound while they are up 2 points. The shot clock is supposed to reset to 20 seconds there. The shot clock does not reset. Nobody on the Wake Forest staff notices. I don't think anybody other than me noticed. I know that the play-by-play staff didn't notice it. So the shot clock doesn't reset. Wake Forest has to foul. Louisville ends up hitting 2 free throws. They end up winning that game. I think they won by 6 or 8 or something along those lines. But either way, Arch, you coach for a long time. I'm just kind of curious, what do you do in that situation? How do you handle that situation? And is there anything that Steve Forbes can do at this point to right the wrong?
It's tough in live action, as the game is moving, especially as you're coming down the end to possession by possession. You can lose sort of, your train of thought as you're trying to regroup, especially after a broken play. You would hope that one of your players would be savvy enough, if not your players, your bench, especially somebody who's action, as the game is moving, especially as you're coming down the end, things for you as the game is going on.
Furman game tonight,
to
which I
get the
thought was going to be a
referee's
better
attention.
game.
You got to find a way to get the referee's
2 points.
attention.
The shot clock is supposed to reset to 20 seconds there. The shot clock does. And we are going to sit here and sweat out the end of this Tennessee-Alabama game with you. We're going to get into that. There's plenty to talk about there. But first and foremost, something I'm a little fired about. First and foremost, something I'm a little fired up about. I know our producer Greg is a little bit fired up about it as well. Wake Forest moving forward, other than make you get even more mad. You got to find a way to get the referee's attention. That maybe the shot clock is supposed to reset to 20 seconds there. The shot clock. You would hope that somebody. And we are going to sit here and sweat out the end of this Tennessee-Alabama game. Get a referee's attention. Sit here and sweat out the end of this Tennessee-Alabama game for a second. Nobody said me. Like I checked Twitter there. First and foremost, broadcasted something I'm looking forward to afterwards. And there, I would have assumed that he was losing his mind on the sideline if he had noticed. Wait, so I had to rewind it just to make sure that I'm not going crazy. And I was 2 points crazy. I was right. The shot clock is supposed to reset to 20 seconds there. The shot clock. I was grieved, and we are going to sit here and sweat out the end of this Tennessee-Alabama game today. We still would have had to stop and go and score at the other end to be able to win. But it's frustrating you don't get that chance, right?
But I'd be irritated that I didn't get to have the chance to to keep it a 1 possession game with about 5 or 6 seconds to go, especially when I have a player of the caliber of Alondas Williams who's shown he can make the correct decisions at the end of the game. And then you have Isaiah Musius who's hit big shots, Davion Williamson who's hit big shots. And that Yum Center, guys, you guys know that's a tough place to play. And for something like that to occur towards the end, I mean, you have to notice it, and then you almost have to make a scene. Even as far as hey, Forbes, just get out there on the court and be like, because at that point, they're not going to tee you up for that because they have to understand where the issue is. And I think for the most part, ACC officials would be lenient to that in order to figure it out. They'd gather together. But the fact that nobody caught it is what's shocking to me. And it changed the complexion of the entire, last minute because you had a shot at keeping it 1 possession, automatically put them on the free throw line. You have to foul. Disappointing to say the least, especially for a Wake Forest team that started out so well.
Yeah. I think the big thing in that game is that was a big team for 2 teams, really trying to establish here early. Louisville's bouncing back, getting their feet on the ground after, a couple losses. They missed the Kentucky game. It's their second ACC game. They can get the second win. You have Wake, who's off to a terrific start at 11-1, already 1-0 in the league. It felt like conference basketball tonight all over when you were watching these games. The intensity level always goes up, once you jump into conference. But, I think it was a big step for Louisville to find a way to win. They shot 34 free throws tonight. If you followed Louisville all season long, they have been a 3-point shooting, jump shooting team. And I know Chris Mack, I've seen him coach 1,000 games. He's one of the best there is at getting fouled, getting the ball inside. So for his team to get 34 free throws tonight, that was a big deal for those guys that they can build on it. And from Wake's perspective, they're off to a great start. This is a tough feeling, but you got to going into the Yum, like you said, right there to win the game. They've significantly improved their where they're at in the ACC as they head home or wherever they're heading next. So there's some positives to take out of both teams, but that was a big game. It really was. It felt like a big game. And I think both teams really understood they needed to get it for a lot of different reasons.
Hey, Arch, let me ask you this. they took 22 threes, Louisville.
Yeah.
That seems to be kind of in the sweet spot. Did you have like a set list of specifics that you would go after as far as statistics are concerned, whether it be paint touches, amount of shots from a certain area on the floor? Was that ever incorporated in something like that?
I think the free throw line has always been emphasized with us all the way from our first year at Dayton all the way through. Getting fouled is a big part of the game. You get guys out of the game who are good players. You get your best players involved different types of ways. But the free throw line was always a big deal for us. Shooting a three, each team that you have can be a little different. Some may be a lot more equipped to take more. Some may be just certain guys shoot them. But for us, it was always about getting fouled and getting 2-point opportunities, because when you do that stuff, the threes are going to be there. And especially if you're good on defense. But I just felt like Louisville, and watching them early in the year, they're trying to find an identity on offense. And the 3-point line has been something that they've taken an abnormal amount, I think, for a Chris Mack team. And I think as you watch them go through conference, it's going to be really interesting. As you say, they were 10 for 22 tonight, 45%. If you ask Mack and his staff, how many of those threes tonight were ideal, good shots?
Something I'm a little bit fired up about. I know our producer,
I think the result tonight is they got a lot more drives at the basket. And they got a lot of different guys involved in getting fouled. Samuel Williamson had double figures tonight. He has been non-existent for that team. They need him to kind of keep going. And they got a bunch of different guys at the line, multiple times compared to some games where I think they've taken 4 free throws in the whole game. So big step for Louisville if they can build on that.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of stress in the city of Louisville over the performance of this Cardinal team. But for the record, we are sitting here on December, I guess it's still December 29th, technically. And Louisville is in first place in the ACC as the only team with a 2-0 record. So Cardinal fans, it's not all bad yet. So maybe keep the faith going a little bit and pulling in the right direction.